Hello again, my lovely messy friends out there. Happy Friday to you. I hope that you're doing well, taking good care of yourself. Thank you so much for checking in on this video. If you are new here, welcome. If you're returning, I'm so glad to see you again. Today, I was running around the house, taking care of business, and I couldn't believe that it was almost April. So I need to hurry up and celebrate my April plants that have joined my collection in the previous months of April through the last few years. I keep track of I know this is really nerdy, but I keep track of my houseplant collection on just like a Google sheet. So whenever I get a new one, I write down, what plant it was and the year and month that it came into my collection. So this month we have a large one. April is kind of like a plant fever month, a spring fever month. It's a time when I am just giddy with excitement because the winter cold weather is finally leaving and sunny days are coming. April is a time to switch gears from survival into thrival. So today we have a whole handful of plants. I've kind of grouped them out into three main categories: cacti and succulents, ferns, and tropicals. So grab yourself a delicious beverage or snack, or grab some of your own little plants and watch along. If you enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to, please consider subscribing. Help me grow my YouTube channel. It is becoming a really fun hobby for me. And without any further ado, let's just jump into it. Okay, so we are going to start with the cacti and succulent group. Even within this group, I broke it down a little bit into three different types. We have the classic spiky cacti, jungle cacti, and then succulents. So let's introduce the fuzzy spiky cacti. This is my peanut cactus. It is so phenomenal. I just bought it. Look how long and grown out it is. I really enjoy trailing cacti. I think they are so unique. And this one's little trunks, or it's vines, it's stems, I don't know how you want to call them. They are just so luscious. I cannot get enough. I can't stop looking at them. They twist and spiral, they hang down. I am so excited to grow this cactus even more. I had great success with my rat tail cactus last year, and this is just even better. So I am going to repot it. I'm not going to be caring for all these plants today. Like if you have seen my January, February, or March houseplant birthdays, I usually introduce the plants and then care for them. But I've been really busy getting ready to go on a trip. So today we're just going to look at them and enjoy them. And I'll catch you guys next time that I'm ready to do the work. Today is just for fun. So this is the first one, peanut cactus. And let's go grab the next. My next cactus is the corncob cactus. This cactus stole my actual heart. I love that it's a pillar style cactus. I love the super shiny, nubby body of it. I don't think it's picking up in the camera lens, but if you look at the spines, they have like a periwinkle, like light bluish purple tint to them. So it actually looks really good in this planter. It's super cute. It's just in like a cactus soil. I put some leca on top because the trunk of the cactus was still a little bit exposed. The tip of it is so satisfying to touch. It's exactly the right size for my fingertip. So, and it's not too spiky. I just love it. Okay, next. Okay, next we have this barrel cactus. It's like a golden barrel cactus. It does have a really bad sunburned side. That happened the year before last year. And to be honest, I think that really, really hurt this cactus. It hasn't really done well since then. The sunburned side doesn't really grow as much, so the side that's not as sunburned, it's growing more, and you can tell it's starting to lean and to tip over. But nevertheless, I still love this one. I wouldn't replace him just because I damaged him. I wouldn't like throw him out and get another. But I'm so attracted to how long and thick and stiff the spikes are. Oh, Daisy, it's okay. Sorry. Can you come here? Can you come here? Are you okay? That's a good girl. It's a good puppy. I actually have a funny story about my dog in regards to a barrel cactus. One time we were traveling to like a small town in central California. It's called Hanford. But anyways, we were walking her along this neighborhood that we were staying in, and there were a lot of cacti growing outdoors. And there was a huge barrel cactus, and she walked right up to it, and she was like, "Oh, what's that?" And she like sniffed it, and she bumped her nose into it, and then she like, woof, like barked at it, and it was really funny. It was really cute. She was fine. Ow, she didn't have any spines in her. But this one is, it's very sharp, but it's fun to touch if you like. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's it's really fun. I really like this one. It's a mean cactus, but it's adorable too. Okay, so that's it for the like typical classic spiky cacti. Next, we're gonna do jungle cacti. Let's start with my rickrack. I've had a little bit of a hard time getting used to how to grow this cactus, but it turns out lots of light, lots of water, and it will be happy. I think I removed them all for the most part, but if you don't give your rickrack enough lighting, its growth is super spiny. But you can see like this growth here is a pretty good example. Like it was super spiny, and then I decided, oh, obviously you must need more light. I gave it more light and more water, and it grows more of these flat, wide paddles. A lot of this is growth from my care, and you can tell it tells you that story of learning how to take care of it. You know, it tells you like, oh, she didn't know what she was doing. Oh, she started to figure it out. But I love this cactus. It was on my wish list for the longest time. It was hard to find, but I found it locally. I love it. It's just so fun. It's so cute. The new growth is like shiny and like pink and peachy blushing. I don't know if we can pick it up. The lighting is kind of coming from behind and above me. But it's really sweet. If you have one of these, then I'm sure you're familiar. I'm sure you're familiar with that struggle, that learning curve. This telltale, like, oh, I just bought you and I'm not quite sure. And then like, okay, now I'm figuring it out. But anyways, this was my rickrack cactus, a jungle cactus. And I have one other from April. Do I only have one other? I can't recall right now. I'm really into jungle cacti, but they're not as common to find. But I'll grab my other one. This one is the rhipsalis paradoxa. I'm happy to have it, but I'm very bitterly disappointed by this plant because I purchased it online, and the image was, I paid a super acceptable price for it comparatively to like how hard it is sometimes to find rhipsalis paradoxa. But when you look at it, only these 3 branches are even like representative of a paradoxa. The other branches that are included are not grown under proper care. These are some peanut cactus bits. Anyways, I bought it. It was $15, but the image for sale, this sale image said, like this cactus, like this plant or similar. It was like at least 5 times this. It had probably 3 clusters with 3 fingers, branching out and trailing like 7 or 8 inches. I was just like, oh my God, it's a steal. I'm going to grab it. And this is what came. Yeah, I contacted the seller and she's like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. Let me help you fix it. And then she just disappeared. So I'm really happy to have the beginnings of a rhipsalis paradoxa. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to be more patient than I was hoping to have to be to grow it out, but I am really obsessed with this plant. So we will see it someday. This is it for the cacti, the jungle cactus, and now we're going to move on to succulents. So I have two succulents for the month of April. One is lithops, and the other is howarthia universe, I think. We'll start with this lithops. It is currently in the middle of blooming or, hatching. So the inner plant is feeding off of the outer plant. And this lithops is telling me two different conflicting messages. So when it comes to lithops, what you want is something that is cute and petite, close to the ground, thick and chunky and juicy, firm, etc. So when you look at the growth that's coming in, this one is telling me like I'm satisfied, I was getting enough light, the conditions were good for me. Because the previous lithops was more stretched out, and then the incoming lithops is shorter. It's like, oh, okay, actually it's really comfortable in here. I don't need to try so hard. But then this one is telling me the exact opposite message. This was the previous lithops, and the one coming out underneath it's bigger. It's like, oh, help me, I need to stretch, I need to try, I need to work super hard just to survive. So those two like twins that live in the same neighborhood at the same house are giving me two completely different reactions. And then this one didn't grow a baby yet. It might still. Okay, that's the lithops. And next we have the howarthia. This one is in this really cute lips pot. I really like it. It's a lot of fun. Also, the top is decorated with, if somebody like loses one of their earrings or like a random thing, like a shiny or a sparkly thing, I just plop it into here, which is kind of fun. This is a really easy plant. There's no drainage in here. So when the soil is wet, when the soil is dry, I just wet it all the way. And it's been growing really happily. I have the other one. I bought these together, and then just like they were in the same plant, and I just separated them, and I put two together right here. This one lives on a windowsill upstairs. This other one lives it's really kind of convenient because all of these April cacti and succulents were kind of just clustered together next to where my lizard lives. So it gets light from the lizard's light and then also light from this lamp back here. But this is the other one. It lives in my east-facing windowsill. It grows really happily. These plants are super cute and super easy to take care of. I really enjoy them. If you've been here a couple of times, then you might have heard me mention that I don't usually have doubles of plants, but there are a few that I really like and they're really easy to care for. And then sometimes like I'll experiment and I'll say like, okay, I'll grow this one in trying to replicate some desert-like condition, and I'll grow this one in just a windowsill that faces east. I'll see if one does better than the other. But that is it for the succulents, but I do have one honorable mention, and that is my ZZ. I don't know, I wouldn't classify this as a succulent. I wouldn't classify this as a tropical. It's somewhere in between. You can tell if it grows in this direction, like if it goes that way, to try and like reach toward the light. I recently added a grow light right above it to hopefully encourage it to grow, because in all honesty, the only thing it's done since I've bought it is slowly try not to die. You can see some of these stems in there are kind of shriveled. At first I underwatered this plant severely because I was told like whatever you do, basically don't water a ZZ plant. And it suffered. And then I watered it more, and then it was a little bit startled. And then now I water it pretty consistently, but it still doesn't grow. It doesn't die, but it doesn't grow. And something else that's really exciting is that my best friend who lives in a different state, she was in a grocery store and found a Raven ZZ for, I want to say it was $15 or something, almost just like this size too. I paid $15 for this green one in like 2020. And she bought it for me. She called me on the phone and she was like, hey, do you like this plant? And I was like, Yes, I do. That's on my wish list. And literally, she showed me multiple plants from my wish list. There was a Monstera Peru and a global green pothos right next to the Raven ZZ at this grocery store where people are buying their food and their like laundry detergent or whatever. In my state, you will never see that, or at least not in my town. Anyways, I was like, yes, I do. And so she grabbed it for me. She's gonna take care of it. And then the next time we get together, she's going to give me my baby Raven ZZ and even let me propagate from her global green. All right, okay. All right, that was it for cacti and succulents and our honorable mention. Now we will do the next group. Next, we're going to get into some plants that you guys have already seen if you've watched some of my most recent videos. We'll start with Monstera Peru. I have doubles of it because I bought this one first and it just kind of proceeded to disintegrate and die. I'm really obsessed with this texture. I went through the same thing with the crocodile fern. It has a similarly like bumpy texture. So this is my number one. And then number two is this one, also online, a much better price. And it's doing okay. It has actually not grown at all either. But the only thing that has changed about it, the oldest leaves did die off. They didn't make it all the way through the winter, but there is growth starting. There is some growth starting, but I think it looks kind of like it's not going to make it. I don't know. It looks really pale and strange. And on this side, I can feel this bump starting to swell right here, but you can't quite see anything yet. Anyways, I am going to pot these plants together, and I am just obsessed with the leaf texture on them. Super beautiful. I think this is a little spot of sunburn right here. You know, I've got it a little bit too close to a window. No, I left it outside. I left it outside a little bit and it just kind of got scalded by like some refracted light off of a window in the backyard. Oh, it's really dirty too. It's really dirty too. Anyways, Monstera Peru, super beautiful. And the next tropical plant for April is this rhaphidophora tetrasperma behind me. I did just cut it in a video that I created but have not gotten around to editing yet. But these are some of the propagations. I gave the other propagations to my friend, the same one that I mentioned before, and they are starting to root. They're starting to root. See this little white bump starting, and then the aerial roots are just getting soft and perky. It'll root soon enough. I'm in no hurry. I have this cutting. This one is rooting quite nicely. These beautiful fuzzy roots. And that's it for the tropical section. Now we will see our final group. Our final group of plants for April birthdays is fern. Ferns are probably my favorite genus of plants, or do you say species? Genus. Genus of plants. There's something about the way they smell. Comment below if you also have a thing for the way a fern smells. I guess you're welcome to comment anything you want, any nice thing that you want, but also if you like don't like the way they smell. But there's just something about the way they smell. It brings you back to like if you were ever like out in the woods a lot as a kid, or even as an adult, like if you ever had a phase of your life where you were often like out in forested nature type of areas, like those types of places where the ground gets like soft and spongy because of like the natural like fall leaves that fall on the ground and just kind of decay. I don't know, but there's something really special about ferns to me. I love them. And the first one that we'll talk about is my Victoria fern. I saw a picture of this not too long ago, from when it was kind of just a baby, and it just had like 6 random little spidery like fronds. But look at her now. She is so big and so beautiful. Also, another thing that just crushes my soul in a positive way about ferns is the way their new growth unfurls. The fiddleheads that they get, like, that's irresistible to me. It's like a fairy tale creature. Yeah, I'm really obsessed with these plants. Basically all kinds of ferns. I'm really proud of this one. I give it a really good home, really close to the humidifier. I water it more often than I water it more often than some of my other ferns, which would probably prefer to be watered as much as this one is. But this one is so precious to me that I would hate for anything to happen to it. So it's my Victoria bird's nest fern. Love it. Next, we have Maidenhair Fern. I've been through a lot with this plant. Firstly, I purchased it from Lowe's, and it was marked down to like $5 because it was pretty much dead. But I bought it and I brought it home. I was like, hey, I can't get worse than this. I had a pretty good confidence that it would grow back, just because ferns, being one of the oldest plant genus or species or whatever on Earth, like you know, that tells you a lot that it's like resilient. You know, it's hardy, even though they are on the surface, they are very delicate and very fragile. Like, for example, the foliage will die if you make it unhappy, but the roots of the plant and like the growth of the plant will recover. So I bought this plant dead, and then I have killed it 2 times, but it still keeps growing back. I'm really hoping that I can someday return it to the full beauty that it once was under my care. But it's been a bit of a struggle. I burned it with fertilizer. I was like, look at you grow, girl. You're killing it. You must be hungry. Let me give you a snack. And I gave her some fertilizer, and it burned, like all the leaves turned dry and crispy. And it was really unhappy from that. And it didn't grow back the same way as like one time I let it die from not giving it enough water before I left town. But that it grew back from more easily. But with the fertilizer death, it's been a little bit of a longer road back. But I think we'll get there. But this one is the best smelling one. I think they call it like one of its proper names says something about like fragrance or something. And that could be a lot of plants. I don't really know. But this one does have probably the second best smell. Okay, last fern. This last fern, in my opinion, is super underrated. Like, on the one hand, yes, it grows wild outside in the Pacific Northwest, and in other North American habitats. It's just a wild plant that grows outside in the woods. So I do understand why it might be a little bit slept on, like it's common, but it's more beautiful than is often recognized. Like, the foliage has a really thick, leathery deepness to it, but it also has a really delicate, like glistening shine. I really enjoy and appreciate this plant, and the shadows that it casts on the wall, you guys, if the light hits it and it casts a shadow on the wall behind it, it is stunning. Obviously I'm biased, but because I love ferns so much, but it's so, like, the shadow of this, the shadow of a Monstera deliciosa, I don't know, those are two types of shadows that really give you jungle vibes. Like, they really give you like tropical vibes. So that is it for our April plant birthdays. Thank you so much if you watched all the way to the end. I know it's super like nerdy and weird to take the time out of your day to like celebrate your plants, and usually it is more purposeful for me. Most of the time I do take this as the time that I need to repot plants, trim and prune them, clean them, etc. But I've just been, as I mentioned before, I've been very busy because I'm planning a trip with my family in the next week. Like, literally, we're going to leave in 2 days. So I haven't really had the time to devote to my plants. So I'm not going to take the time today to be like caring for them in depth. I'm just going to give them a hug and a kiss and pray for their well-being while I'm away. But anyways, thank you all for tagging along and sticking with it to the end. If you have the time or the interest, we can chat in the comments. Do you also sometimes get bit by the spring fever bug when it comes to buying maybe more houseplants in April than you had been buying in previous months, or like going through like a spike at the end of March, at the start of April, where you kind of buy a little bit more plants than you normally would otherwise? I wonder, because the videos that I also watch on YouTube, like a lot of people are like, oh, I bought more plants than I thought I was going to, like all throughout the month of March. And I know that that's just the start of the uphill climb as we head into the spring and summer growing season. So anyways, I will let you guys get on with your day. I appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. Oh my goodness. Can you actually believe that I just tried to conclude this video without showing my April plants for 2023? I can't believe it, because it's an Anthurium warocquenium and an Anthurium pallidiflorum. Have I lost my mind? I unboxed these on my YouTube channel when they came in the mail, but I just put my plants away, and then I went back to staring at these because I'm so obsessed with them. Like even though this one has like a bit of a wound from the shipping, I'm still absolutely obsessed. Let me grab the other one. Can you believe this? Can you actually believe that what you're seeing? I cannot believe that I forgot to mention these for this month. It was kind of an in-between. Like, I did purchase them in March in honor of my birthday, which is March 1st. But I told myself that these would count as my April plants. Stunning. Absolutely incredible. But I forgot to mention them, I think because I had already talked about them on the camera. So I thought that my damage was done, but look at that. So good. All right. Okay. Goodbye for real.